On today's show is part 2 of National Battle of the Bands, my synopsis, the things that I was thinking about or the things that I see, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm going to talk about all of it and more coming up next on Luke's Band Report. Good morning, good evening, or afternoon, or whenever you're watching me right now. My name is Jay Luke, the owner and operator of the Passion Is Network. I'm also the host of Talk That Talk. You can get any of our merchandise at www.realtalkthattalk.com. We're also going to be adding our store to the YouTube page, so be on the lookout for that. Now, I already know that this is 2 weekends ago at this point, and there's been a lot of stuff that is happening. Prairie View and Texas Southern, Jackson, I think UAPB has performed. So I already know that this past weekend has a lot of stuff into it, but I already said that I was going to do this, and I want to go ahead and finish that out before I get into any of the new information. Also, remember, Talk That Talk will be this Wednesday, so be prepared for that. We're going to be talking about a lot of current events. Without that, all that being said, I want to go ahead and get to it. So let's go ahead and watch part 2 of my synopsis on National Battle of the Bands. Here we go. Jackson State University, the sonic boom of the South. Now, I will say this though. The intro into Jackson State's first tune was very trumpet heavy. Trump funk was up there in the stratosphere, and it sounded really thin. As a trumpet player, I will definitely say this. I don't mind you going for it. If you got the chops, go for it. But if you don't have a bass to support that, it makes it sound really scratchy and it makes it sound really thin. My suggestion would be that if you're gonna have the screamers to go for it, I would also suggest that you probably take some seconds and thirds, put them down in the middle register, just to be able to support the sound that you are trying to push forward. Just my thoughts. I could be wrong. The announcer. Now, before you guys jump down my throat in the comments, I actually like Jackson State announcer. I think he works for the band specifically. I just think it's weird, right? Because like he has a very professional sound and the way that he approaches announcing for the boom, which I think is great if that's the route that you're gonna go to. But it feels weird when he kind of uses like terminology that is more or less urban in his stuff. It's just weird. It's like that episode of Dave Chappelle when he was playing Tiger Woods.
I always wanted to say this. For shizzle.
Yeah. It's just weird. But I mean, again, I think that he works well for the band. I just think that sometimes when he uses like urban terminology in the way that he announces, just a clash. Just a clash. Moving forward though, I think the boom came out with a boom. I think the boom let everybody know that they here and they here to stay. Here's the problem that a lot of people didn't realize. Yes, the boom was smaller, but even still, with the boom being smaller, they still were packing a major punch. So if they were packing the punch that they were packing just from this performance alone, just imagine what it's gonna be like when those kids who were off doing another performance, because that's what was happening. I mean, if you didn't know that by now, that's a problem. But when they come back, we can only imagine what they're going to sound like when those kids come back. Outside of that though, I thought the sound was there. Big sound, big energy. J5 looked good as always, and they were announced to come get you some. See, that's what I'm saying. Doesn't that sound weird? It just sounds weird. It just does. But outside of that, again, I felt like Jackson did great. I feel like the band performed very well, specifically with their smaller size. Drill was great. I have no issues with what they did. All right, now you go into the slow tune. I thought it was executed very well. You got to remember that Jackson State doesn't have any color guard, so you're not visually paying attention to anything. So you're really just taking into the music. Now, I would definitely say that it was a great piece. It was definitely executed very well. I like the trombone smears in there into the da 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 da. Wow, I love that. I thought it was great. Piqued my interest.
I like it a lot.
But outside of that, once again, executed very well. No issues there. And then after that, the sets. You know what I was trying to say. The J sets came out there and they did their thing. And I think it was applause. Round of applause. Let me see that. They performed to applause, and in regular J-Set fashion, I think they carried it very well. I think they executed it very well. Again, I don't really have any big qualms with any of the dancers that I had seen throughout these particular performances. Why? Because I think they all did very well. Specifically coming out of the gate, being a lot of their first big performances, I have no issues. And when you have these specific groups who you know are going to put on a good show, you kind of expect it. So again, J-Sets, great job. And again, you got the dance routine, and we ain't talking about that. Here we go, Prairie View A&M University, the Marching Storm. Let's go ahead and first talk about the elephant in the room. Now, I know some of you all probably want me to bring up the crooked line of Prairie View, the one that's been passed around all through the Facebook streets, probably some other streets too. I'm not gonna bring it up. Why? Yeah, they was out of line. They was out of line. They were out of line. They were out of line. All right, so I guess I am bringing it up. Yeah, they were out of line, and it kind of was unbecoming. I mean, let's be real, it was terrible. But on the other hand of that, again, let us not forget, we are still dealing with students at the beginning of the year. So mistakes are going to happen. Some people are going to have brain farts, brain freezes, not look down the line, not look to your left and the right, not match shoulder to shoulder. Even though these are all things that obviously we all get in band camp and the communication that we get, even when we are learning the drill. Hey man, spit happens. And dealing with new crabs. So it happened. It was bad. Move on. A lot of people have been talking about the stadium, the acoustics of the stadium, and all of these issues that take place in the stadium. For me personally, when it comes to the sounds of bands, I don't really take too much issue with that stadium situation, because at the end of the day, it's just multiple reverberation. And I mean, a dome is a dome. Anytime we played in Honda, it was never an issue, but I see a lot of people complaining about with the Texas stadium. A stadium is a stadium. Reverb is reverb. But what I will say is this, when it comes to PV and MSD and the bass drums, typically that sound of the reverberation of the bass drums cannot necessarily translate well, specifically if you're doing a drum major intro with no music and just percussion. So as I listened to it, I could just kind of hear where the possibility of phasing was there. My suggestion is, when you're in a dome situation, just probably just get the whole band to play. But other than that, I mean, I thought it was cool. I'm not necessarily a big fan of drum major intros like that. I mean, in the 90s it was dope, in the early 2000s it was dope, but kind of when you see them once, you see them all. So there we go with that. Most of these videos that we get from Prairie View so far have only been from behind. That's not a pause. But outside of that, you're not really getting a good clarity of what the band sounded like, specifically from the front. So it's kind of hard to be able to judge or detect or make any kind of comments other than that. So I think a lot of this is going to be drill based and not sound based. As far as the drill is concerned, I thought the drill was okay. I did notice the vote thing, and people were making a big comment about the vote. It's big O. Is kind of the point I was trying to say. But yeah, I don't really think there was an issue. I think the whole point of that was to try to make sure that all the kids got inside of vote and stretched it across the field. So I didn't really see the biggest issue with that. Yeah, it was kind of weird to see the big O on there, but I kind of understood it. Kind of, a little bit. And then they played the Jennifer Lewis thing where she was trying to get everybody to get out and vote, which I don't know if a lot of people caught on to that or not. Because really, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that was a big viral moment. Not as similar as to the one where she had, I don't want nobody messing with me in these streets. I don't think people caught on to what they were actually doing. I did, and I thought it was pretty creative. I am a big person on taking current events and putting them into your show. So I don't really think that was a bad thing. I just think that it just didn't translate well to the audience, because I don't think the bulk of the audience kind of understood what they were doing. That's just my personal opinion. I could also be wrong about that. And then they go into a star formation, which kind of is new. It's kind of new. It's not the Texas formation with the star, so we upgraded. And then they rotated the star and they rotated it back, and
That was the star. Again, I can't necessarily talk about the sound on the field because a lot of it is from the back. But from a drill perspective, the star came out okay, so no issues there. And then they made like this 3-man formation. I guess it was like going up steps or something. I don't know. It was kind of upside down when I saw it. I really didn't understand the whole thing with that. I didn't get it. And it wasn't because it just didn't translate well. It was just because it was upside down. So I didn't get it. And maybe the music that was being played was going along with it. I just didn't get that part. And then after that, in old school box formation, MSD comes up for a feature and they gave us a feature. Now, I'm gonna say this, as a person who's grown up in Houston, I used to love watching the box do the box thing. I would say that MSD's feature, while clean, was not necessarily as entertaining as what the box would be, but definitely a clean presentation. And I'm not gonna take anything away from that. Just, you know, it was there. They were good. That was it. That's all I got. Then after that, they get into the slow tune with All I Do Is Think of You. I think that's the name of the song. Is it All I Do? All I Do. No, it's one of those All I Do's. Anyway, my point is that I thought it was well executed, and they did definitely have a big hit section, which I felt like the big hit section actually kind of hit. And on top of that, they were surrounded by Twirling Thunder, where I think Twirling Thunder was twirling their thunderous selves off. Yeah.
Violin and thunder!
They did well. I don't think it was bad at all. Very good job, ladies. I really believe that they've been doing a lot of great work in Twirling Thunder. And so just to be able to see those ladies fashioned around the whole band doing their thing, I thought was really good. Keep up the good work on that, ladies. And also great sound. What I can hear from the back of that video, I thought the piece was also executed very well. And then you have the Black Foxes, and the Black Foxes came up to give you their Black Fox thing.
What does the fox say?
It feels good. Yeah, that's what they played. The song by Tony. Or is it Tony? I don't know. But anyway, I really thought that the song was executed very well, and I think the young ladies did great. I just think for me, from a tempo perspective, I felt like in a lot of places it just was too slow. That's just me. Outside of that, I think they executed it very well. I just felt like the tune was a little slow. This is Luke now. This is Luke talking here. I just like really fast tempo dance tunes. Like, you know, if you're around the 120, 130 area, to me, that's slow. That's just me though. That's just me. But I thought they executed it very well. They didn't hold the song out for, like, you know, chorus, verse, intro, bridge, another chorus, another verse. They didn't do all that. They got in, did their thing, and got out. So, hey, I can't argue with you. And of course, in Black Fox fashion, they did the little bow. I've been seeing that for years. Can't let that one go. So, hey, kudos. And then after that, dance routine. Wasn't there. Didn't care. Here we go. The Southern University. Pause. I said that like that for a reason. Hey, y'all. Quick disclaimer, I only know of about maybe 1 or 2 universities that use THEE before their name. One of them is Jackson State University. Can we stop throwing "the" in front of every HBCU and let it just be the name of the HBCU? Because again, the only place where I know they use "the" is in "the I love." Thank you. With that being said, here we go. Southern University, the human jukebox, has stepped on the field, and I'm telling you, they came to lay the hammer down. They came to let you know that SU was here, SU gonna stay. So all the crap that's been said and talked through these band camp streets, oh, we here. That's basically what Southern said. And I'm letting you know now, Kedrick Taylor was not playing around. Southern came out big. And when I say big, sound was on 1,000. Now, here's my big thing with this. Again, remember, when we talk about Southern and we put them together against Jackson, because the boombox is a real thing and it's gonna happen. Remember, Jackson is missing some people. Southern may be, we don't know. But that sound that they put out there, that's gonna be very interesting and a very good boombox that we're gonna see coming forward in this marching band season. And not only did they let you know that they's here and they coming to stay and they gonna be the Kings, but they also put they were the standard on the field. So yeah. Now, the Dolls did the doll thing. I'm not gonna say that they did bad, because it's the Dolls. Ain't too many times where I can tell you that the Dolls were just terrible. And in this particular instance, they were absolutely on their job. I ain't mad at them. They killed the game. For the first time out of the starting gate, for the first performance of the year, I'm saying right now, I liked them. The sound of the jukebox during the doll performance was absolutely big. And I'm telling you, again, continuation from what they started on the drill, right into what they did for the dancers tune. Big sound, big energy. I like it. I loved it. Let's keep going. It's raining right now in the DFW area, and I can't stand the rain. All right, actually I can't because it's been like really, really hot. But outside of that, that is what Southern played for their slow tune. And I'm telling you, sound, and more sound from top to bottom. Everybody knew their part. The euphoniums came in when they needed to come in. Now, here's the thing that I will definitely say about that. Again, beginning of the year, energy is on 1,000. First big performance of the year. Usually when we start hearing those euphoniums really giving a lot of energy in those areas when they have their counter melodies or just when they want to sing their random parts out of nowhere that really kind of don't make sense in the music, it does happen a lot.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Some euphoniums tend to overplay and get sharp, and I did kind of hear that a little bit, but it was nothing that I'm just going to make an overly big deal about, but just pointing it out. So yeah, but other than that, Can You Stand the Rain? A very good arrangement and big sound from the jukebox. So again, I really appreciated what they were able to bring to the table. And here comes the dance routine, and yet again, in the fashion that we've already discussed, the big person was the joke yet again. And I get it. It's part of the gimmick. It's part of the thing that's been happening since God knows when, right? But let's just be real. The big person is the joke. I never really thought of myself as a joke. I haven't.
I can't stop eating.
So there you go. I mean, yeah. And then finally, Sideline Blowdown, and that was the one where the jukebox decided to say, we are going to put the period in who we are. And they definitely did that, coming down front and giving the Sideline Blowdown with lots of energy, lots of power. And I'm telling you, SU is putting everybody on notice at this point. A lot of people getting put on notice. Because even from what I heard from this stands battle, I was pleasantly surprised from a lot of people. This looks like it's gonna be a good season. And finally, we get down to Bethune-Cookman University. And in normal Bethune fashion, they have their drum major entrance very similar to what PV did, using their drums and just their drum majors. I think the difference is the style of the percussion, whereas PV uses the drop bass, but BCU uses tonal basses. So when you're talking about the heaviness and the reverb and so on and so forth throughout the room, I think one just has a little bit more clarity than the other, and so it doesn't become as muddy or jumbled. So I could actually hear their percussion as their drum majors were doing the performance. After that, they go into their drill. Now, some trumpet decided to start a little early, and you know, that happens. Again, brain farts right at the beginning of the year. I'm pretty sure Donovan Wells gave them a double deduction. Outside of that, moving forward, they decided to play I'm So Into You, I Don't Know What I'm Gonna Do. And as they did that, they went into a vote formation, and they kind of held that formation for a little bit, came out of that formation, and then went to their block band. They kept it very short. I'm not mad at them. I don't think that's a bad thing. Hey, this is the first performance. We ain't trying to overdo it. Let's just get on, do what we're supposed to do, and get off. Now, one of the things that did shock me was they didn't play Let's Go Wildcats. Right at the beginning, at least. I wanted that. I wanted to sing. I'm sorry. I don't care what organization you are a fan of. When they play that, you be singing too. I do. Whether it's out loud or under my breath, I'll be singing it. You do too.
We do not care.
Now, 14 Karat Gold came out and gave you all the razzle dazzle they can possibly give in the little time that they did have. I will definitely say that I enjoyed their performance. From a musical perspective, I really appreciated the fact they played Bang Bang. I think Bang Bang is really actually a good band tune if written correctly. From an energy perspective, they had all the energy and the tempo was definitely there. But here's the thing, I like a faster tempo with dancers, but one of the things that I did notice is that even when you're moving with the faster tempo, some of your moves cannot be completed sometimes. And so I saw that just a little bit, not a lot. But outside of that, I thought that 14 Karat Gold did a really good job. They did their normal, I guess it's a Florida thing. When I looked inside of the comments on one of the other previous shows that I've done, somebody told me that the open leg gush thing is just a Florida thing. Now, I'm not gonna necessarily say it is or it isn't, because everybody likes to gush a little bit with their legs open.
Nice.
That's true though. But what I could say is I definitely appreciate the uniforms. I'm a fan of the one leg long thing uniform. I think it gives a little bit of the sex appeal while also giving the feeling of being covered up. I really like that. And so I think it worked well with what they were doing and their performance. So good job, 14 Karat Gold. I don't think that you all did terrible. Very good. I liked your performance. And then they go into their slow tune where 14 Karat Gold sits on the floor and they do their shoulder movements.
But I have my money.
And they have a special guest, none other than Money Long, which I always thought it was Mooney Long or Muni Long or whatever. But Money is long and nobody does her like she does. You know what I'm trying to say. She actually came out and performed the song with the band being her backup accompaniment. And I thought it was really cool. The reason why I thought it was cool is not because she was singing, because honestly, I'm not necessarily a fan of solos unless you just gonna blow it out of the water. But the reason why I thought it was pretty cool because it's a slap in the face to every band who tries to play the song, and I got the real singers. So now what? I don't need to have my band play it. I got the chick. See me, is what Donovan Wells said. Now, outside of that, I thought the accompaniment that they put along with her, I thought was really good. Very good as far as filling some of those spaces inside of the void, not having any dead spaces, and I thought it accompanied her very well. Sometimes when you get bands who have music along with singers, it doesn't tend to go well because they always try to make sure that the rest of the band is playing exactly what the singer does. Sometimes you just need to let the singer be the singer. And I think that they did a very good job with that. Not to mention that in the back, their flag squad was flagging and very good, very good. I'm not gonna say that the flag squad did bad. Actually, timing was good. I thought what they did was very good. Not a lot of tricks or anything, but just some really good color guard in the back. Now, personally, me, I wouldn't have put them in the back.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
I would have found a way to move them around that formation that they had and added some more color to it and maybe a different color silk just to make it pop just a little bit more. But outside of that, I thought they did a really good job. Good job, ladies. And then from there, they move on to, you guessed it, the dance routine. And you know we ain't talking about that. So with that being said, man, I went through every single band. Outside of that, guys, you guys tell me, what was your favorite performance? What band that you felt stood out on the field specifically, not in the stands, more than the other? Who gave better sound? Who gave the better drill? Tell me that inside the comment section. Also, tell me your thoughts on my thoughts. Do you think I'm correct on some of the things? Do you agree with some of the things? Or you don't? It's all good. I ain't tripping. Other than that, man, go ahead and like, subscribe, share this stuff out. I appreciate you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys for listening. And I will see you guys on next week.